Y'all tell me when you're ready. I'm gonna enjoy this first quote. What?
I think we all are.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck the king.
Fuck the
I'm
king.
so glad that's like
Fuck
his
your
slogan
friend.
now.
Yeah.
Like, I just want him to tattoo on the inside of his bicep, and anytime someone mentions it, just be like,
Arya's just like gathering fruit. She looks over and he's like by this dude's house, like a farmer's house, just like writing it on the wall. Fuck the king.
Winter is coming.
Where are my dragons?
In the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die.
The things I do for love.
A Lannister always pays his debts.
Chaos is a ladder.
Hodor.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
We
We
Are
the
Rewatchers
Rewatchers
on the
wall.
Walda, Waldina, Willa, Worthless, Walda, Linda. It's Mary. Yes, fine.
Does he even say yes, fine? Is that what he responds?
He
with?
says fine. I don't know if he says yes,
Oh
fine.
yeah, he's like fine.
Fine then.
I kept waiting for one of his daughters to
many.
be named Mrs. Norris.
Oh man! Oh man, you're making me pretty disappointed in my very nerdy Harry Potter self. Hi there. My name's Mitchell Marshall. I'm here with Tyler Harris, Riley Harris, Tyler McKinley, and it's time for episodes 9 and 10, the infamous episode 9 of season 3, Game of Thrones, The Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Where no one actually cares about the people who got wed, even though, like, good work, you know. He really made out well there. All said.
He
all
married
being
the hot
said.
one, I guess.
It's a little out of world, but when it gets revealed that she's quite attractive and Waldo looks over like, yeah, it could have been yours. It took me out of a little bit, but in a good way. I really enjoyed it. Should we just start with the red wedding? Or do you want to talk about some? Okay.
do we want to
you
do
know,
summaries?
wait. You know what? What am I
Should
even
we talk
talking
about everything that happened?
Tyler, break it down.
All right. In season 3,
Okay.
Rob makes up with Callan. She agrees to go. Shit.
That would be really hard.
Let's try it. Should we try to
Okay,
wrap
let's
it?
go. Okay.
You go.
Rob makes up with Catelyn. She agrees he needs to try and take Casterly Rock. Argus Filch makes. I can't do it. It's not gonna flow. I didn't write this with a.
I'm not even keeping time. I don't think. I was like trying so hard in my head. I'm like, okay, just keep going.
It worked for like the first 7 words of
Yeah.
this, and then
I was like,
How
if
do you-
this
how do you
next
fit-
word rhymes, I'm gonna flip my shit.
How do you fit Casterly Rock into it? It's like she tells him that he needs to take Casterly Rock. Ramsay Bolton sends Balin Theon's cock.
See, if we would have thought this out ahead of time, it's very doable.
Next time. Next
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Season 3, episodes 9 and 10. Rob makes up with Catelyn. She agrees that he needs to try and take Casterly Rock. Argus Filch makes Rob apologize to all his daughters and granddaughters. Dario Naharis looks like Nicholas Holt went to the gym instead of acting class. Arya attempts to teach the Hound restraint. Bran and the Reeds continue their journey north. The Wildlings ambush an old horse breeder, runs away. Bran and friends are holed up in a grain silo where the Wildlings finally find the horse breeder. Hodor goes maximum Hodor. Bran possesses him. The Wildlings want Jon to kill the horse breeder. He can't. Ygritte does. Everyone fights. Jon kills British Dwight and abandons Ygritte. Dario is the greatest whistler in the land. Dario and Mormont are ambushed. Edmure Tully gets hitched to the hot one. Jojen tells Bran how weird he is, and Bran tells Asha to take Rickon to the Umbers. Talissa wants to name their soon-to-be slaughtered son Ned. The baby is killed. Talissa is killed. Robb is filled with arrows. Catelyn has a knife to Walder Frey's wife's throat. Roose Bolton kills Robb. Catelyn kills Walder Frey's wife, and an extra kills Catelyn Stark. The Hound gets Arya out of the Freys. Tyrion and Sansa garden around. The small council discusses Robb Stark's death. Tywin tells Tyrion he almost late to reported him. Sansa is sad. Bran tells the Reeds a scary story. The Blackfish escaped the Red Wedding somehow. Ramsay Bolton becomes a meme. Theon begs for death. Ramsay changes Theon's name to Reek. Sam runs into Bran. Ramsay sends Balin Greyjoy Theon's wiener in a letter telling him to pull out of the north. Yara takes a ship to save her brother. Sam gives Bran the Reed's dragonglass. Davos connects with Gendry. Shay loves Tyrion and Sansa. Varys tries to get Shay to leave. Cersei tells Tyrion to get Sansa pregnant so she can have something to be happy about. Arya and the Hound kill some Bolton soldiers, and Arya whispers Valar Morghulis into the magic coin. Ygritte shoots Jon 3 times. Maester Aemon uses the wall's emergency broadcast system. Melisandre wants to sacrifice Gendry. Davos sets Gendry free. Jon barely makes it to Castle Black. Jaime and Brienne arrive at King's Landing. Stannis wants to kill Davos. Davos tells Stannis about the letter from the Night's Watch. Melisandre tells Stannis that he is going to need Davos. the end of season 3.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Man, what a season.
What a
All right.
season.
So, Riley, did you know the Red Wedding was coming? Did you know that was going to happen?
No, I did not.
We
You
should
did. I
have.
did.
We
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
recorded your face.
Okay.
I gasped so loud, like multiple times. It was a lot of feelings.
The moment
there.
the moment when the ominous song starts playing, the band starts playing the ominous song, and Catelyn starts reacting, did you connect the dots quickly enough? Because I think the first time I watched it, it had been spoiled for me, so I've never gotten to experience it like at that moment what I would have thought. So did you like know it was coming in that moment, or were you just like, wait, what's going on?
I mean, I obviously felt something terrible coming, but I didn't think that all of them would end up dead at the end. Like, I had a lot of hope up to the point that, like, Catelyn got her throat slit. Like, I was hoping that something would happen. But
So
it
you were
was
like,
sad.
someone might die, something bad might happen here. They might but you didn't think there's gonna be a slaughter or a pregnant woman being stabbed. Yeah,
Yeah, that was... I did not like that.
yeah. Even when I rewatch every time, I'm like, maybe I'll let Rob live this time. And again, like I like Rob.
Maybe I accidentally put in the Choose Your Own Adventure DVDs this time.
Hey, if Black Mirror can do it,
Can they though? I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah,
But
okay.
anyway, back to the Rob Stark. I mean, so he's kind of your figurehead for the Starks at this point. He's to some degree winning. He struggled a little more this season, but to see him go, again, he's not. And I feel like I say this every podcast. But it's important. He's not a point of view character in the books. Rob is actually not important, even though he's like the son of Ned. He's the birthright to the Stark. But man, I actually really enjoy how stupid he is in the show. I like Richard Madden. I like The Bodyguard. The
Kevin Costner movie.
It
is the one
sucks
he's
when he
talking
dies.
about.
Does.
I do love Whitney Houston as well. They should make a third movie that's like blending the two bodyguards together.
I mean, I was quite confident when both reading the books and watching the show in the first 2 seasons, first 3 books, that Rob was going to be the one. At least he was going to get to King's Landing. He might.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, man, he's got to kill Joffrey because like he's the one that represents his family the most. I felt like that's the best person to kill Joffrey because he is the Stark. He represents the Starks, and they need vengeance on the Lannisters, and that's the best way to do it. So I was pretty convinced that that was somehow going to work out for a while.
He is the closest thing we have to a "here is your knight in shining armor" protagonist.
Yeah.
Do you think, as far as general storytelling, were you more surprised about Ned's death or the Red Wedding slaughter and the fact that it took out Rob, our new protagonist of sorts?
I think the Red Wedding was more shocking to me because it felt like everything was finally coming together. Like, Arya was going to be reunited with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were all there. They had supposedly been forgiven for Rob being dumb. And they built up so much hope in it that when it happened, I was crushed. I couldn't watch it for a while after I watched that episode. I had to take a break.
The thing is, this episode, episode 9 ends with complete silence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you think about some of the musical choices that comes in this one. It's just like, there are Red Wedding reaction videos on YouTube that are supposedly people filming their friends and family who have no idea what's coming watching it. I hope most of them are genuine. Some are really good, and I just wish, I don't know how much knowledge I had beforehand, but I know I was not fully shocked, and like, I don't want people to die and nasty, terrible things happen, but I kind of want to be surprised when nasty, terrible things happen and people die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Tyler, how did you? So you knew it was coming because it's a pop culture thing. The Red Wedding is,
Yeah.
you know. So when it actually came to fruition on screen, was it effective?
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
mostly just them killing Talissa. It almost strays into that territory that it's only happened a couple times in Game of Thrones for
Yeah.
me, where I'm like, this is a lot. This is like
Yeah.
maybe a
There's
bit
the
too
horror
much.
audition, and this one are two of the things that I'm like is really needed because I was.
Yeah. The stuff
Yeah.
stuff with Joffrey and the horse too. Like I think we talked about
Oh,
that scene.
right,
That
right,
scene
right.
is so long.
So
this
brutal.
isn't close to like how egregious I feel like that scene is, but it is. It's one of those moments where like this is a lot. Like I don't know. I can't tell if it's like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I feel assaulted. So if that's what they're going for, then great job. But yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to watch.
It's more brutal than it is in the books, because in the books his wife is not pregnant, because she would be a target because she'd have Rob Starr, and she is not there. She is.
Oh, really?
She lives through it. Yeah.
She lives through it.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
her name is Jane Westerling, and she's actually from a family that's a very small but technically noble family. They're on the Lannister side, and then they get captured, and then she does nurse Rob, kind of similar to Talisa. So
Okay.
very different story. He does betray the phrase betrothal, but it's different when you're like, we're going to impregnate this girl and ever be at the wedding.
It's also weird to me that they had the conversation about naming the baby Ned literally minutes before
Yeah.
she was murdered in a really... I don't know. That's like one of those things I'm like, maybe I'm just really sensitive to that stuff because it feels a little like
Well,
manipulative.
yeah, it's definitely like trying to force pathos on you at the last moment.
Which I don't. I think that there are times that they could have already done that. Like
I agree,
in the scene with in the tent earlier,
Yeah.
they have that really like adorable scene that could have come up there. And also they're stabbing her in a pregnant woman in the stomach. I don't know if there's a whole lot you need to do to force the audience to feel.
Do
you
they
know what I
ever
mean?
even
Like,
stab her or slit her throat, or they really
No.
just...
No, they just let her
stab her in
bleed
the
out.
stomach a lot, where it's
Yeah.
like,
Jeez.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you kill a woman that early in a pregnancy, that baby's gone. So it's like,
right?
the- you might as well play it safe. Cut the throat,
Right.
like
Dude, the throat got
I mean-
props to the prosthetics.
yes,
department.
Yeah, for sure.
Spewing, looking real. It looked
like
good.
Catelyn at the end. I mean, and that's the part of the scene where like I appreciate the most about this whole. It's the one that makes me feel the most is when Catelyn has the knife to
Yeah.
the little Frey wife's
so
throat,
glad when she
and
killed that
it's just
little-
heartbreaking to watch her beg this piece of shit man
Michelle
for
Fairley
anything.
is so good.
She's
and
very
like
good.
And you find him so disgusting, yeah.
in like a moment that like I'm disgusted, I find myself also like being like touched and emotional.
Yeah.
And then it just all ends for her. She watches like everything slowly crumble and her like scream of anguish as she slits this girl's throat. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like you said, it ends in silence and you're just sitting there stewing in everything during the credits.
Yeah. Well, in that last shot, they do hold on that because
Yeah.
she slits her throat, and then her throat is slit in that same shot, and it's funny because like hers feels less momentous after everything you've seen, which I think made it more powerful to me too, because it's like she really does. There's like that beat where she kills that woman, and there's just a beat, and then some random guy that we've never seen before comes in and slits her throat. Like it's like. Oh man,
Couldn't let a
there
major
it
character
goes.
do it.
That's the end. Yeah.
Do you want to... Should we talk about Lady Stoneheart right now?
Yeah, I feel like this is the best time to. I mean, we don't want
Let's just get this out of the
to
way.
get too sidetracked on it, but I think it's a good time.
The show's biggest omission, and I think that is universally agreed upon, is that in the books, Catelyn comes back as a vengeant zombie who joins
What?
up with the Brothers Without Banners.
Thoros
What
of
the
Mir
hell?
brings her
Oh,
back.
really? Oh,
They
that's
find her body in the
cool.
river with her throat slit, and then I think Beric has to like give up his ability to come.
Oh,
back,
does he?
doesn't
I don't remember that
he-
specifically.
It's not like talked about too much,
Yeah.
but I think they hint at that.
Yeah.
He's
This,
no longer
is it
around.
in the show?
She's
No.
no.
Oh
That's
my
that's the only
God.
reason I'm
Missed
willing to say it now.
opportunity.
It's very tangential in the books too. It's not like she gets a ton of page time.
Yeah.
But it is like you brought
That's
back
really
a major
cool,
character.
though.
It's fun. It's a little out there, and I kind of get why they cut it, but it's not very time
She like
consuming.
can't talk because her throat is.
Oh
But for
my
some reason, the book.
gosh, I love
Yeah,
I
that.
think-
she's not the same woman, by the way. She's vengeful and angry, but
right.
it
no,
is
that
her.
makes sense,
I
yeah.
think.
Oh.
Well, I think
It's her body.
Yeah, yeah.
If,
Lady
I'm,
Stone-
if I'm
yeah.
remembering, the Brotherhood can actually understand her though. So
Yeah, they
they're
have, like,
they're like
some
translating.
Like the deeper you get into this, like I realize why it's cut because how do you not just make the show about this?
Yeah.
At that
Once you
point.
catch up, like read her her Ice and Fire wiki page. Man, it's great. But I think it's worth mentioning, like, because she's a good character. She's annoying in some ways, but she's a mom. She's trying to be smarter than her son and her husband. And yeah, we
Also, like probably top 5 performances of this show.
Yeah.
For me. I love.
Yeah.
I love her.
Can I
in
just say
this show.
the role that she got? And I don't know, because they didn't need to bring her back right away the next season. They could have skipped a season and brought her back. She was on an NBC show called The Return, which was about like, and there are like 20 shows like this. It's like The Leftovers. A bunch of people come back
Right.
who are gone, and I was just like, really, for a broadcast gig you did this? But huge missed out. I wonder if they regret it now, but I see why it happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a dope side note.
Yeah,
That
We
is
didn't
really cool.
should not have seen that story.
it's a very major thing.
Yeah,
I
I like
wanna
that a lot.
Ask you. Let's start with Riley. Do you know who Roose Bolton is?
No.
Tyler, do you know who Roose Bolton is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, like now do I know who he
Yeah.
is, or do I know who he was before?
Did you know who he was before this episode?
No.
He was like this. He's like
Yeah.
this little bitch who is technically a Northern Lord. And
He's like the guy who was
Yeah.
trying to get Rob to torture prisoners.
Oh, okay.
Like when they first, like from early on, he's been around. I feel like it's him and Karstark
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like the main guys that you would see.
He's a seasoned North nobleman who has some influence. Like Rob kind of trusts him. You see him by Rob's side quite a bit, but you don't really know who he is. You know he's kind of a jerk. And then you see like he's the one who says the Lannisters send their regards. And so I just wanted to know if I thought he was just semi-important, like the Karstarks and the Umbers. And then he kind of steps into the spotlight here. I was wondering if that was evident to you guys that this little character kind of takes a big step up in this episode.
Well, I mean, I feel like before this, there have been some allusions that he's going to be a bigger deal because when
Yeah.
they get to Harrenhal, he talks to Lord Karstark about. He's like, "Yeah, this is some bullshit, right?" And Lord Karstark's like, "Yeah, this is some bullshit."
Yeah.
And like, and then also he's the one that
Deals with
tells Jamie to
yeah.
go to King's
Yeah.
Landing.
He
So
makes a deal with Tywin.
yeah,
before
Right.
so you
studying
kind of get
happens.
the idea that there's some game being
Yeah.
played there. It's not really specific as to what that is,
Yeah.
but like, I wasn't too shocked that I was more shocked that I guess because of those things, I was expecting him to be spearheading that effort to kill Rob.
Yeah.
And so when like all of it took place at Walder Frey's, that's a little more like surprising
Yeah.
to me than. But yeah,
I think a few tangential notes just to make here. One is that the Blackfish gets away.
Yeah.
He was pissing when this happened. And then also they killed a ton of his soldiers that were camping outside too.
Explicitly
Yeah.
said that's the way.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
He goes.
good
He's like, I'm gonna go
for
find a
him.
tree to piss on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah,
right. I do
right
remember
after
that
is when he
now.
closed the door.
And I'm like,
So
that's
he's
an
just there,
important person
peeing
that
on
should
a
have found-
tree.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you just hear screaming. He's like, "What am I missing?"
Yeah.
And then he sees, "Oh, everyone's dying. I'm out."
Yeah.
We lose a lot of
see ya.
soldiers, a dire wolf. When you heard the Reigns of Castamere, that's the song. It's the Lannister House song. Did you guys know that meant anything, or are you just like, oh, this is creepy ass music?
I honestly didn't recognize it at first.
Okay, neither did I. Never have, and everyone's just like, oh, I heard the Reigns of Castamere. I was like,
I mean,
you really
we've
remember
heard
that?
it a few times at
Yeah,
this
we have.
point, and like
They
most
try and lay out
notably,
the foreshadowing.
like the National sings it over the credits of like
Yeah.
an earlier episode. But like, yeah, I didn't catch that.
Cool.
So
And then we'll do some wrapping up the Red Wedding too. But let's just say Arya was so close.
yeah,
I mean, it's a good
Yes.
thing she didn't make it, but there are a few close calls, and I'm trying to remember if one happens at the end of the season or the beginning of the next one, a double close call with two characters. But this is again Arya, who's been so isolated now for 2.5 seasons, or 2 seasons at this point. Oh man, it's
Yeah,
painful.
Yeah.
Poor gal. Anyway, any other Red Wedding thoughts? Any moments or people or things that we need to address?
We can talk about.
You just want this to be over, Riley.
I really do. I hate it so much.
We can talk about the beginning of episode 10, where it's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of the
yeah, for sure,
aftermath of the Red Wedding, where it's Roose Bolton and Walder Frey and servants just cleaning up blood puddles with salt and rags while they're just discussing like how much of a bitch they thought Robb Stark was.
yeah.
And like that's an interesting conversation to like hear. I don't know, two traitorous bastards just like exchange their reasonings.
I think we frequently have conversations between two people who hate each other, but I don't think we have as many conversations of two people who clearly hate each other and also are not good at hiding that they clearly hate each other. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Walder Frey hates Roose Bolton, and Roose Bolton's just like, you're an old idiot that I hate. But they like work together to pull this huge move. But it's an interesting scene.
It should be said that when you I don't know how clear this is made, so you guys tell me, if you invite someone into your house and most importantly give them food, they have guest rights.
Right.
Did you think that they made that pretty clear, that that's like a big deal, like someone's safe in your house once you give them food? Okay.
And after the
Yeah.
fact, like
Yeah.
it's not
This
something
huge
that like I
betrayal.
expected
Yeah.
at the beginning of that scene, But
Yeah. They like lay that out, and then they harp on it pretty hard
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah,
But
for sure.
man,
Yeah,
just so you guys all know, if I invite you over for burritos, I'll never switch your
good.
you'll let the burritos do their work.
It's in that scene though that it's revealed who Theon's captor is.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Officially.
Yeah. Which was very confusing to me at first. Like I said, I didn't really know who Roose Bolton was, so I didn't really connect, this little a-hole to this. Even though some transitions in the show, we've talked about it before, are so obvious. So transitions
Right.
like,
Yeah. They've leaned into that a lot this
Yeah.
season, I feel like, and it's kind of wearing on me a little bit, but yeah. But yeah, sometimes it is helpful, and I understand why they do it, but...
Yeah, there's times where I'm rewatching. I'm like, how the hell did I not see that? Because that transition was so obvious.
Right.
Watching back, they're more obvious. But I thought you'd pick up on them.
Yeah. But it's Roose Bolton's son, Ramsay Snow. He's Bastard's son,
Bastard
who's
son.
torturing Theon, who's
Good old Ramsay.
a sick little hobbit bastard.
Yeah, he's
really horrible
the
things.
grindhouse sections of Game of Thrones. I think those were directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Probably.
I'm not sure.
Probably.
Something like that.
What else happens in episode 9?
Episode 9. Yeah, I don't.
It's really hard.
A lot of
Let's see.
time is dedicated to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they show up at Walder Frey's, and then all that shit goes down in the same episode.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
all of
Arya
that
is really
happens.
the only other thing I can think of.
We do have to talk about. Let's talk about Daenerys and stuff real quick.
Oh, okay.
So they take. Is it Yunkai at this point?
Misa,
I'm confused by all that. Is that what it is?
Misa.
yeah, so
Yeah,
Yunkai,
right, yeah.
Yunkai is the city she takes at the end
Right.
of season 3.
Are you sure?
Okay, so that's this.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
they take
you're right.
Yunkai.
I'm confused by. I don't.
Ask
I
the
can't
poor-
remember all
The
of
three,
it.
Yunkai.
like Aspor, Yunkai, and Marine,
Yeah.
they
Okay.
do get confusing.
Right. Anyways, so they sneak in the middle of the night, like Dario, Jorah, and like probably the dumbest. Okay, Dario Nahar sucks.
Okay,
He's
we
bad.
talked about. Okay, we have talked
how
about him
shitty he
before
is.
on this
Yes,
podcast.
yes,
right?
yes.
How
Yes.
much we all hate him.
Yeah,
and
Fabio
I'm so,
Naharis.
so
I don't hate
glad-
him as much as you guys.
I'm so glad everyone else hates him because he bothers the shit out of me. His stupid face, his stupid voice, the way
Yeah.
he talks.
Look, if I would have known he was going to survive the end of the season when he was first introduced, I would have been ticked. But I never thought he was going to be that important.
Yeah,
he
honestly,
does survive the
first scene
season.
he was in, I was like, "There's no way this guy is around for very much longer." I thought for sure. I thought maybe the other guys in that scene would
Right.
be, but yeah, he's awful. And it's funny because like every time I see him in a scene, and then it cuts to Danny's reaction, I feel completely ripped out of everything because
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Oh, I am not feeling what she is feeling at all. I'm not even close."
You're not feeling the stirring in your loins?
No loin stirring. But
That's the name of our other podcast.
Loin
yeah,
stirrers.
we do learn a very important thing about Dario Naharis in this episode is that he is the greatest whistler in the land. Which, as someone who can't whistle, I'm impressed. But also, if you're labeling yourself that, like, if you're ever about to date someone who tells you they're the greatest whistler in the land, they don't have a whole lot else going on. Like that is no good.
I can't whistle when Hunger Games came out and everyone was doing the stupid whistle. I was just like, yeah, I hope you guys all die.
You just downloaded the app, just the Hunger Games soundboard, and pressed it in your pocket all the time.
They should have. I downloaded a custom soundboard and it has the hip hop air horn
Yeah.
and
I
the
can
Hunger
hear it.
Games whistle happen. That's all I do.
You should merge those. Get an Air Horn Hunger Games.
I can't even do it.
But man, yeah, Dario Naharis sucks.
Yeah.
And a part that pissed me off, it's probably one of the most offended as a viewer I've ever been watching Game of Thrones, is when they try and twist your arm after they take the city, and then Jorah Mormont and Grey Worm come back, and they're like, it was just like you said. We took the city, they threw down their arms, and we kicked their asses. And then like Dario's nowhere to be. She's like, and where's Dario Naharis? And like Jorah's face says, "Oh, he died in the battle, and I'm distraught about it." And we as an audience are supposed to give a shit. Like we're supposed to give a shit. First of all, second,
I was stoked. I was so happy. I was like, "Oh, thank heavens, we don't have to watch this guy anymore."
I didn't buy it for a second. I knew he was his stupid mouth was gonna come walking right back into that tent. And he does, and he's got the flag. Like, what was he doing? Just hanging out, waiting for his grand entrance?
Yeah.
That's true. It's a little
guy's the
controversial.
worst.
They were a little outnumbered too when they go.
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
city.
they were. Yeah.
But then
Especially
they
on
just
like the
come
second
back.
round.
And off
Yeah.
screen, they're like, "Yeah, we just won."
I like to think that after when that second round comes and they're getting surrounded again, those guys were like saw all the bodies and they're like, "Oh shit, no way!"
Just drop
Like-
their spears and put their hands directly in the air.
But yeah, I was pretty like I don't know. That's the moment I felt like the most like you guys like didn't even try to write a good thing here. You just like
They gave us a fan service moment, which there's not many in the show. Okay,
but who's a fan of that asshole? Like
they really thought they were when they were watching dailies. They're like this guy.
he's gonna be the new star of the throne.
Whoa.
This guy,
Also,
he's bad.
Dario in the books has purple or blue hair and a
dude.
forked beard.
Yeah,
Wow.
that-
He's supposed to look a little funky. Yeah,
It's 3 different colors each.
Oh, it
spike
is.
of
Oh,
his
okay.
Beard.
I knew it was a weird colored
Yeah.
hair beard.
Yeah, the
thing.
book is like ridiculously like more
descriptive.
fantastical.
Right.
I wouldn't say ridiculous more, but appearance-wise, there's definitely a lot more of
I
like
mean, have you
this.
seen-
Someone has something distinct.
You've seen like the art from the like encyclopedia.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the World of
And
Fire.
how everything's like way more.
You're right. There is like more grandeur and stuff.
more on the.
I'm happy they grounded it. Like, we're gonna see some I can't remember which. There's a specific castle that the book describes as really weird, and I was like, I'm happy that in the show it was toned down. It's
Yeah,
just a castle.
but there's a character who's not even. I guess he's more in the next season. I guess, but there's a whole character that's not there named Belwas.
Oh
and
yeah.
he is this big fat dude who's dressed like Aladdin but with a vest that's too small. And I'm like, I wanted Belwas in the show.
And he takes cuts to the gut to fool a guy into thinking he's done something.
Yeah.
And he kills him. He's
so
super
fat that
cool.
he
He's
can't
cool.
be killed by slicing him in the belly.
You're kind of selling me on getting me back into the books when I don't watch
He-
it. Because
he shows
even
up
just
with,
to hear about
um,
that dumb zombie
yeah.
shit. That's really cool.
Belwas he's good.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Dario's super weird. We hate him.
Yeah.
Hopefully things get better.
We're kind of getting into the pattern with Danny of she goes to a place, hangs out for the season, and then at the end she destroys it or takes it over or has some big victory.
Yeah, are you guys like frustrated that you feel like she's not making? Because she is technically making progress
Yeah.
towards being stronger, but she's not like headed to Westeros. Is that annoying at this point?
Her story feels like a video game to me. It's
Huh.
like,
Yeah.
you've done this and you've opened this new part of the map, and she's like, you have 97 slaves to free now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
on
how
the
in
map.
video games there's kind of like a rule of 3. Like think like Ocarina of Time, you got the 3
Right,
temples
yeah.
to hit, and once you get those, then you move on to your next phase of your journey. That's what Slaver's Bay feels like.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It does
Slaver's
feel
Bay
like a
is
video
the
game.
ultimate.
I feel like
video
the dragons
game
have
environment.
fluctuated. Like it looked pretty big when it burned the dude at the end of last season, and now they're like kind of adolescent again.
Yeah.
But her biggest one, I can't remember his name right now.
Drogon.
Drogon is much larger than the other two, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Which it took me forever to realize. Well, not forever, but the first time I heard it, I was like, "Is that just a stupid like twist on dragon?" And then I realized, oh, it's named after her dead husband.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. I was like, that was a stupid.
You change
naming
one
convention.
letter in the word dragon.
I was like changing master to maester. It's
This
like
is Drogon,
Not even a
Drogan, and Drugu.
Drugu's a little bitch, and he's not growing fast enough. The other two pick on him.
Drugu just uses his fire for pranks.
Dracarys, gotcha.
Dracarys.
But yeah, man, her just sitting around Slaver's Bay isn't near as bad in the show as it is in the books. In the books, it feels like you're there forever,
Right.
and it does a little bit in the show too.
Yeah.
But I think the important part about what we've seen so far, at least, is that she got an army at one,
Yeah.
and and then like kind of proved. I don't know, that moment where all of them are holding her up, calling her mother, and you see like Jorah and Barristan and Missandei kind of like all looking on, and they all kind of like realize she's like gonna be a good queen. And
Yeah, or that she just has this magneticness.
yeah,
I'm sure there's a better word for magneticness than magnetic.
Magnetism?
Magnetism?
Yeah.
No, that's not
Animal
it.
magnetism. You know,
I was thinking magnanimous.
Magnets?
I looked this up just because I was curious. In this episode, they have one scene with Sam and Gilly. There's a scene with John and a scene with Bran. One scene in Yunkai, or 2 scenes in Yunkai, and the rest is at the Twins.
Oh, is the scene with Bran
wow.
when he meets Sam? Is that what it is? In that? Is
It's
that
when
how
the
it's-
wildlings kind of run in
Is that
to
in
where
season?
Bran and
Oh,
everyone is.
That's in
Just
this
cut that out.
Oh, it
That's
is?
in the next episode.
But it is in this
That does
season.
happen in this
Okay,
season.
okay.
Oh, intent.
Because
Let's talk about that close call then, or those 2 characters right now.
Yeah, because they meet him They meet him after John.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they don't know John's out there.
John
but there's
part
like
one,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing where they kind of
Yeah.
accidentally
Oh,
cross.
that's
for
actually a big
second.
moment
Yeah.
for Bran, so we
Yeah.
should definitely talk
Yeah.
about that.
Some important warging happens here. So Bran and Tonks and the baby and the giant
The baby.
Rickon.
It sounds like
No.
you
Rickon's
just,
like 6.
it sounds like you just
Baby.
titled a British sitcom from the 80s. Bran and Tonks and the baby.
With their big giant friend. Oh no. By the way, you saw you said something about like this being Max Hodor. Hodor will never surpass that moment when he's just walking around naked in
Completely
the Godswood.
naked.
That's Max
You're right,
Hodor, if you
you're
know what
right.
I'm saying.
That's true,
All right,
that's true.
So they're hanging out, and they kind of convince the Wonder Twins convince them like, "Hey, we got to go find the Three-Eyed Raven." And then Tonks is like, "I'm not going over the wall," and they convince her to take Rickon to the Umbers, who are a strong and loyal Northern house. And they're like, "They'll protect you there."
Which who knows what's gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen when they get there now because
The baby's gonna get its own storyline.
Rickon
okay?
is a very valuable commodity
Yeah.
right now.
Well, what's interesting? I don't know if you meant that sarcastically or not.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
mean that.
yeah,
Sarcastic. Bran and Rickon are like that's
Yeah, like the
Now
Starks
with
are-
Robb dead, like
yeah.
especially like in this patriarchal society, like you're the male heir to something important.
Yeah.
Like now, most of Westeros thinks they're dead, which is important. But yeah,
Right.
like they are really important figures for a story and the line, and they're at risk.
And have we seen? I don't feel like I've seen the Umbers. Like I might have seen them.
You
in that
saw
mass
Great
of
John
Northerners.
Umber.
The guy got his finger bit off
Yeah.
and was like the crazy like,
Oh, okay.
your meat's bloody tough.
Okay.
and I'm-"
Easy to
and
confuse
then
him with the Karstarks. He's just
I
another
honestly could think
gritty,
that, yeah.
Well, because he just
douchey
disappears.
Northern house.
He's just
Okay.
He does.
gone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Interesting.
I
I think he
think-
was really likable. I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did we get rid
That's
of him?
such a dumb, cool moment.
Yeah.
Like when he just gets his finger bit, and I was like,
He's like
yeah!
Rob's #1 backer. It feels like for a
Right.
little bit. Like,
Yeah. I was saying Rob is. I feel like Rob does the right things, but obviously is a few big lords who just they have. I think no matter how good he is, and no matter how much they chant King of the North, they have a hard time following a young guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I mean,
What do you
So-
guys think about Bran? Is he more interesting now?
whoa.
Because he's kind of boring. I hear it too. The tinny. He spends a lot of time being like, "Oh, we're gonna hang out with this guy who's like with the kid who has seizures and the annoying girl." Like, "Oh, we're back here."
I mean, I feel like that's a huge moment of when
Yeah.
they're trying to be quiet because there's wildlings outside.
Yeah.
And Hodor's freaking out because of thunder, and he just is like, "Man, shut up!" And is just willing so hard. It's like, if I could do this with my son, it would be wonderful. Like,
Yeah.
just crying and wailing and not shutting up. And I'm just like, man, if you could just trying to will him with my brain to be quiet, and it works for Bran. And he takes over Hodor's mind for a bit, and then Hodor just like passes out. And the same thing he does with animals, he does with a human, and Jojen lets him know, like, nobody can do that. Like,
Yeah, and it's dangerous. And he then takes control of his direwolf being all that stuff. Then I think Rickon and Tonks are gone, right? By the
I think
time
they
that
leave
the
after
wildlings.
that.
Oh, it
They
is.
do after
Okay.
It's like that night.
They get
leave in the
concerned.
middle of the night.
So some wildlings come around, and John is with them. So we're with Ygritte and the guy
Tormund.
Tormund, the bear banger, and then their warg, who we find out is pretty like adept at this. He's controlling the seagull. He's like scouting ahead, and they hear Hodor a little bit, but this kind of creates an opening for John to escape, and he takes down a few of them, including the warg, who then before dying heads up into the eagle, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then,
That was
but so close and yet so far.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
doesn't succeed.
Also,
But,
the
like,
first big breakup of the show, really.
yeah, the most aggressive breakup of the show so far.
And John is a man of few words, but I wanted him to be like, "I love you, but I gotta go." But he doesn't.
Well, he does say "I love you."
He doesn't.
He does.
I love you and you love me. He's like,
Yeah.
I know you're not gonna hurt me.
And then she shoots him
And
3
she
times.
shoots him 3 times. But
Which I
like,
love, but
clearly we know
she
she's
coulda-
way better
yeah,
shot.
she
than
coulda
that.
killed
Like,
him.
yeah. So,
But
so
we
that's
also-
that's
yeah.
a wildling for "I love you." I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. If it had
Yeah.
been one more, they would have been married.
I mean, that's a pretty Tim Wilding breakup, probably. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
people are probably losing limbs and those kind of affairs.
Also, did we talk about the cannibals?
They're
Is that
not
later?
this episode.
Not there.
Mark, take those out. There's cannibals, okay? We don't even need to mark it down. Don't take it out. Guess what? Teaser for next episode, we're going to talk about cannibals. And I'm actually okay with it. Anyway,
You heard it here first. Mitchell's okay with cannibalism.
He's on board.
so John gets away after breaking up with Egret because he sees his opening.
And he makes it to Castle Black.
Yeah.
That's basically where the season ends for John. Is he makes it back there, and Sam is back there, and I don't remember the name of the black-haired friend of his.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Gran or Pip?
Pip. It's Pip. That's
Pimp and Gran?
Yeah, so something that bothered me, I mean, it's not a big thing, obviously, it's not a big story thing, it's just something that, personally, I'm like, why, what? He's full of arrows in his back, and they put him on his back! Those arrows are getting pushed more into his torso when you do something like that. These guys are idiots.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were set. The Night's Watch is not the best.
Yeah.
It's not the most skilled group of soldiers in the realm. But apparently everyone thinks they are somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The wildlings must suck ass.
That you haven't been able to get past these people. Even though we see wildlings get over the wall, obviously, in these episodes. And
Yeah.
man.
Man,
But that's where Bran ends, or they head over to
they run into Sam.
They run into Sam. They're going through. So the Night's Watch used to have like thousands of men cover castles across time. Now they're in 3 castles. They go through one of the old ones and underneath to get out, and they run into Sam, almost kill him. And Sam immediately figures out who they are, and he's like, "I'll take you to Castle Black." And they're like, "No, we got to go north." And he's like, "Y'all stupid."
That's actually one of my favorite moments in these episodes where he's like, "Wait," he's like, "You're Jon Snow's brother. That means you're my brother. I'll do anything." He's like, "Will you take us north of the wall?" And Sam's just like, "Nope. Maybe we're not brothers." I can't remember exactly how it works.
It's one of
I'm
those
not going back
moments
there.
in like a Jim Henson production where the Muppet just sits there with their mouth like agape, just like looking at the camera.
Yeah. It was really good, and I really needed that from Sam. I feel
With all that's going on in King's Landing, it is interesting to see like Sam is now irrationally like what's happening up north is more important than the wars down south. And that is a little bit of a theme already, is that like, hey, we know that there are ice zombies and more powerful ice things, and we need to be worried about this. We need to get together. The Night's Watch is a pitiful group right now. Yeah. And so Sam is kind of on that board, and yes, quickly rescinds his offer to help.
Yeah. Yes. It's really good.
Let's go to King's Landing.
Yeah, let's go there.
Down by the bay.
What happened there in the last 2 episodes?
One of my favorite small council scenes of all time.
Is it the?
Oh, okay. So here, wait, is it a small council scene, right? When Joffrey so Joffrey's in full bitch king mode. He's like talking shit on his grandpa. Yeah, he's excited like a little girl who just got a new pony. Like that's the best.
I mean, Tyrion's line when he comes in is wonderful. He's like, "Kill a few puppies today," as he's like super excited.
Oh yeah, he's all hyped about the Starks being dead. But then he just starts saying all these terrible things, and he tells Tyrion, he says, "Everyone is mine to torment, you little monster." And this is one of my favorite lines. Tyrion says, "Monsters are dangerous, and right now kings are dropping like flies." Mm-hmm. Fuck you, little king. Also, he then has to say, "I am the king!"
You just hear the hound's voice echoing from hundreds of miles away.
Well, and his
runs
grandpa's
through and slaps a sticker on the wall as he runs out. I love our anti-authority punk rock hound that is in our headcanon right now. He's my favorite. Okay. Anyways.
I just like when his grandpa's like, I call him his grandpa, like he's not Tywin Lannister. He's like, kings don't need to say they're kings, and he's like, the king's tired, he needs to go to bed. And then Cersei tries to start pulling him away, and he's like, "I'm not Tywin!" Oh my gosh, piece of crap.
Well, the best is like, it looks like Cersei is going to succeed in getting him out of the room, and then Tywin's like, "Also, give him some sleeping pills, because I hate this little guy."
But that exchange, like him just being the ultimate little bitch, and then Tyrion just knowing what this means for Sansa, his beloved wife, or at least his wife. Gosh, he's so freaking good, Tyrion.
Yeah. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that we all love Tyrion.
I don't know. Every moment and better thing, like his next arc might be my favorite. He just, the way the way he deals with that little bitch and his lines, like, unbelievable. Like, I literally wrote in all caps, "Holy shit," next to that line. This is not a huge deal, but the way he delivers it, it works so
Well, I mean,
well.
he's kind of, as we've seen in the past, like this whole season, him slowly just losing his patience with Joffrey.
Yeah.
He gets more and more bold in the things that he says to him. Yeah. To things that if anyone else says, they are going to die.
Right.
So it's interesting to watch him just slowly break down, and it feels like that is gonna boil over at some point, to a point that it's not gonna be okay for him.
Right. Yeah, which is funny because we don't see Tyrion in that situation. Like, I feel like Joffrey's the only character I feel that way with Tyrion about, because everything else, Tyrion feels either in control enough in those situations or restrained enough that he's safe. I don't know. So it is that's an interesting dynamic, I feel like.
What else happens in Game of Thrones? In King's Landing?
I was trying to remember.
Oh, Lord Varys tries to give Shay diamonds to leave.
Oh,
King's
yeah.
Landing.
And she thinks it was
Tyrion.
Tyrion telling him to do it. Well, it does seem like she's being in more and more danger as it goes, but she's ticked, and Tyrion he now knows, like, it's probably best for her safety. Does he kick her out?
Mm-mm.
All right. Riley, as a first-time viewer, should Shay have taken those diamonds and left? Do you think it would have been better for her, worse for her?
I don't know, because I have a hard time with Lord Varys. Like, I don't know whether to trust him or not, like, because he plays both sides so well. And so when he was offering that to her, I was wondering if it was like a trap and if they were gonna like do something, or if it was gonna actually lead her to safety. Like, I was unsure, and so I was kind of happy that she didn't go along with it, because I felt like it was better for her not to at that moment, because she wasn't hearing it from Tyrion.
Gotcha.
I do think some stuff that Varys says in that scene, though, is very telling. Like, basically his whole thing of, like, Tyrion's going to be the one to, like, pull us out of this mess if anyone's going to. And, like, you're a distraction. Like, I think that Varys thinks that. Because, like, if you just look at the stuff with, like, Blackwater and all of that, like... Varys was very involved in that, and when he comes and sees Tyrion afterwards, like, I feel like Varys and Tyrion have the closest to, like, a positive, honest relationship that Varys has with anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Varys wants the best for people, the people, and he knows, okay, of all the people who are making major moves right now, he might be the most humane and the best option.
Yeah.
And he wants to help him with that.
Yeah.
Varys, sneaky, good character, because and he's doing a lot of this on his own, because again, we lose Littlefinger for a lot of the back half of this season. He's not involved.
Yeah.
She's gone.
I haven't seen him.
But by the way,
Sailing off to bang Robin, Aaron's mom.
Oh, I hate her.
Gonna compete for the tits.
I know. I hope he's not a nipple guy, because it's gonna get milky. Let's talk about Sam and Gilly.
I hope he's not a nipple guy. Is something I've never, ever thought when seeing another human being or thinking about another human being, but I'm going to keep it in mind now.
I don't know. I just don't want to share that kind of thing with my stepson. You guys look uncomfortable.
Okay.
So Sam and Gilly go back to the what do they call it? The Night's Watch place.
Yeah. Castle Black.
Castle Black. And Maester Aemon says, like, for now she can stay, but it's not like a permanent arrangement. And there just shouldn't be a woman there. And the baby, the sweet little babe born into this terrible world is there. And that's kind of where we leave off with Sam and Gilly. And they're also mocking Sam. They don't believe that he killed a White Walker. They're calling him Sam the Slayer, which is dope, but also they're saying it in a not so genuine way.
And she's also named the baby.
Yes, she names
Sam,
the
which
baby
is
Sam.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Like, okay.
And
Last time a baby got named in this episode, some shit happened, but whatever. Yeah, name babies now.
and no one is like, oh, he must. Well, they do talk about how he broke his oaths because they think he's with her, which is not. But then no one really questions if it's his kid. Because like, nah, dude's definitely still a virgin.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. It was another one of those things where I was like, are Has he been gone long enough?
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think so.
I don't know the time.
Time flows. I mean, like,
It's
not. I
weird.
don't think time flows weird. It's just it's hard to communicate how. If that much time is passing, it's hard to communicate that and fit all these characters in.
I will say I never think about time until someone brings it up, and I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
nah.
I've heard. Well, they refer one at some point to Jamie being like, "Oh, you've been back in King's Landing for." And it's like, what has he like?
Oh yeah, he's like, I've been back for like 2 weeks or whatever
Yeah,
that one.
I was like, that doesn't. I mean, I think it's reasonable to say Sam was beyond the wall for months, but I don't think anyone thinks it's his kid. And really, your vows are just that you won't father a child or take a wife. It technically doesn't say anything about having a side piece. These are my confessions.
I can see Brother Mitchell in the Night's Watch explaining this.
If anyone on the Night's Watch needs representation, let us know.
I'm also the lawyer here. Anyone who wants to go to Molestown,
Side pieces for everyone.
bring your pennies. I was gonna say gold, but it doesn't cost that much. Also, bring
better
some
not for
sterilization shots.
Not for a place called Molestown.
Yeah.
It better not cost me any gold.
But yeah, I guess the other biggest thing in this, I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff, but the next biggest thing I think of is Davos.
Oh, we haven't talked about Davos at all yet,
and
have
Gendry.
we?
Yeah, we haven't talked
He
about
is
him.
great.
Yeah, his stuff's great.
Oh, with his daughter.
Yeah, Gendry's just in the dungeons now after getting sex leeched and
Which doesn't sound so bad, but it is.
Getting sucked off on his first date is like
yeah, pretty
is
good.
how he's gonna tell.
Oh
the
yeah,
story.
he kind of is like, I've never really looked at a woman before, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
Guy Pearce's wife is coming at you.
he's gonna be scared of.
Is she married to Guy
Yeah.
Pearce? Oh, cool. Okay.
He's gonna be scared of women forever.
Yeah.
He's gonna find a loving, consensual relationship, and she's gonna ask him for consent, and he's gonna be like, "Just promise me you don't have to. Just promise me.
I want to see both your hands." Yeah,
I'm gonna tie you up, but not in a fun way."
but the scene with Davos where he goes down and talks to Gendry and he's like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in Flea Bottom too," and Gendry's like, "Yeah, right," and he's like, "Yeah, I lived in the place with all the shit," and he's like, "Oh, you did live in Flea Bottom."
Oh,
He
you're on the
really
boot
could have
camp.
used Keanu Reeves from The Bad Batch to help him out with that problem.
Oh my gosh.
It's my favorite monologue of all
Oh,
time.
that's so good. But yeah, that seems pretty good. I really like that, and Davos is cool.
He is.
Davos, I feel like with the death of Robb Stark, Davos might be like the only truly like I feel altruistic person we have left. And even he's got like a sketchy like he's a smuggler. Like by his very nature,
All
it's
he
like
did
kind of
was
shady, but
smuggle.
he is such a good person.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just really like Davos. I think he's great. And he knows how to read now, so who's going to be able to stop
No,
him?
he's unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Knowledge is power.
Which with Shireen teaching him to read, and that leads us to
Oh, well, we should just say Gendry. He helps him escape.
Oh, I thought we were
And
doing
Gendry ends the season row in that mother boat.
I do. That is, I really love that moment too. And he's like, "Do you know how to swim?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Well, don't fall out." He's like pushes the boat into the water. It's really good.
Well, yeah, and he's like, they're gonna be searching for me in King's Landing. Do they know you're still alive? Do they know your face? No. I'd be more worried about the Red Woman. Go. There's not really much of a plan. It's just like, we need to get you away from her. Which is like, it's played off like expertly as both like a humorous moment, but also like legitimately like that's how desperate his situation is.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of humorous moments, let's talk about pork sausage penises.
Oh man,
Love him.
you know what I hate? I hate mustard. So when he's spreading mustard all over that thing,
No, mustard's good. I used to hate mustard, but now I put it on like burgers and dogs. But on a German, like on a schnitzel, on like a real piece of sausage, you gotta have mustard.
yeah, you like him on Theon Dick, I know. But
That's what I call it. Yeah, that's genuine sausage now is just gonna be Theon.
When they come out with the Game of Thrones theme park, I want there to be a shack that sells sausages that are like.
just an animatronic Theon, just like he's just like Reek.
And then his midsection is cut out, so there's a little drive-through window, and you can walk by and be like, "Can I get a Theon penis with some mustard?"
And it's like, you know, like when you get a Blizzard at Dairy Queen, they flip it over. They just do the thing that he does with the sausage. Like, got your sausage for you.
a little wiggle with that horrible face he makes.
Which is like probably the meme I've seen most from Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Is that, and so I that's when I saw that. I was like, "That's a meme. I know that."
What a meme. So Ramsey is a douche. We knew he castrated him, but he then sends the penis to. We see Balon Greyjoy, who's been very absent.
Yeah.
And Yara open the dick in the box, and there's no Justin Timberlake, so not as fun.
Not as fun.
And then Yara wants to go save Theon,
Yeah.
and they say like something about Deepwood Ma, I think, and the dad's like, "No, he ain't my son. He's not even a man anymore."
Yeah. It's pretty
Which,
messed up.
since when do you need a penis to be a man?
We're not going to get into that.
But yeah, I feel like I'm excited to see what happens with Yara, because it's like a cool.
She's a cool character who kind of gets a little underplayed.
We've seen
She doesn't
very
have a ton
little
to
of
do.
her, but like we kind of get a hint that she cares about Theon when she sees him, and she's like, "You need to go home," and he's like, "No way! I'm like doing it out here. I'm like doing awesome," and yeah, and then she totally goes against her very scary dad, and is like, "Well, I'm gonna take our fastest ship. I'm gonna go get him," and like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where that goes. Like that was the thing that I didn't really expect to happen, so I'm excited to see where that goes. I don't know what it will be, but
I'm interested in where Balon Greyjoy's head is in this moment, because, I mean, family and legacy is such an important part of people in this universe.
yeah,
Then that is his last son, who's now been
De-sunned.
Yeah, he can't have children.
Yeah.
Now, so it's like he doesn't seem, he's so hell bent on just conquering things and becoming king, and
Yeah.
he doesn't even seem phased by it, which I thought was interesting.
yeah.
Because his line's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
It kind of reminds me of like just a little less crazy than I can't remember the character in Lord of the Rings, Faramir and Boromir's dad.
yeah.
Oh, yep.
He kind of reminds me, even just from like a costume and
Visual,
like visual perspective.
Could be
as
the same
well.
actor, to be honest.
But
Bring wood and oil.
yeah, like it kind of has. He feels like so extreme, but like he's way less like visibly crazy than the guy in Lord of the Rings. But yeah,
All right. I'm just before you guys started season 4. Did you write down any predictions? Any thoughts?
oh man,
It's okay. I'm just wondering.
I thought I did, but I don't.
Riley, do you have any notes we didn't get to that you thought were quality observations we did not address?
Oh, Arya and the Hound stumbling upon those guys that were talking about the Red Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like laughing about killing Robb. And Arya is not having it with their
Arya's
conversation.
just like, I'm going to pick fights and know that the Hound's going to have
Yeah.
to back me up if I'm going to survive. And
Yeah.
the Hound's like, I got to kill these guys, you know? But she's a killer now.
Yeah. Arya, I'm super intrigued by Arya because I feel like she is one. There aren't a ton of characters in this show that are like really smart and can hold their own like in a physical fight. But Arya is like someone who will be there, I think. You know what I mean? Like she's very smart. Like we've seen her like when they kill Lemmy or something.
Lami.
Yeah.
Lami, yeah.
What
like
the fuck's... Oh, yeah, that's not even that episode.
yeah. But like when they kill him and she's like, "Oh, that was Gendry. He just killed him. There he goes." You know, and like she's quick. Like when it comes to that stuff.
Well, she steals the Hound's knife for that kill. He doesn't
Yeah.
even realize.
Right, yeah,
it's-
yeah, I forgot about
it's just
that.
like, where'd you
Until,
get that
like,
knife?
after.
And just took it off of him.
The Hound is a delight.
Yeah. He's like not even pissed that she does it. He's more like, you just didn't tell me.
Yeah,
you
he's
were
like,
going
just
to
let
do
me
it."
This
know
is
when you want to kill someone.
inconvenient.
They really are like. We've had some odd pairings on this show. They truly are the odd couple of Game of Thrones in like a really fun way because they're like goofy. Like the conversations they have, they're like constantly like kind of like poking and prodding each other. I feel like, but there's also this underlying affection, sort of. It's
Yeah.
weird and it's really fun. I really like their stuff. So yeah.
Season 3.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? 'Twas lit.
Yeah.
Where do you rank it in your season rankings?
3.
3. Okay.
Chronologically, where did you put it?
No, I do think it's we talked a little bit about this. This show is... You can see this show growing. Especially watching him the way that we are. We're watching him so quickly. There's a lot of really small things that are way different from the first 2 seasons. And I think in a lot of ways the show's less tight than those first 2 seasons and a little less focused. Like, it's not bad. It's just the show is different now.
Yeah.
It's different than what those first 2 seasons were, and those first 2 seasons had some really high highs for me that this didn't quite get to yet. But I can see so many things that will get there for me. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many new things that are cropping up and things that I'm not expecting at all that are starting. And so I'm interested to see where those go and kind of see how the show changes more. But yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Bye, Felicia.
Goodbye, season 3.
Bye. Oh, should I outro
We'll never
us?
see his like again.
What?
As the Night's Watch funeral. When they burned someone.
Oh.
He's always like, he came to us from Harrenhal, and he was a great fighter of a man. We will never see his like again. And now his watch has ended. Yeah.
I would love to hear a true to life yeah, he came to us from this little town where he raped a family of 6.
Just a small town boy.
But he was
Raping
really
the family of 6. And now he's on the King's Road.
To the midnight
Coming
cart going to the Castle Black.
Tonight's watch. Okay, our watch has ended for season 3. My name is Mitchell Marshall here with Tyler McKinley, Tyler Harris, and Riley Harris. We'll see you on season 4.
Bye.
Cool.
Oh, bye.